Hello, and welcome to Catalyze Music Academy. My name is Zach Kerstetter, and I'm an Ableton certified trainer. And at the time of releasing this video, they have just announced the release of Ableton Live 11, which I am super excited about. There are going to be lots of really fun updates and really interesting new features that I can't wait to talk with you about. However, I've decided instead of making one video where I talk about all the features, I'm going to make a series of videos, and in each video we're going to take a deep dive into one of the new interesting parts of Ableton Live 11. So today I want to take a look at comping in Live. This is probably one of the most requested features in Live. A lot of people have been wanting this for a really long time, and it's finally here. So I'm going to take a look at how you can use comping to create really interesting, complex bass lines without really doing a whole lot of work. So let's check it out. So first off, let's talk a little bit about what comping is. So comping is the process of taking the best bits of multiple takes and piecing them together into one ultimate perfect take. And traditionally, this is done a lot with a vocalist or instrumentalist, where a vocalist will sing the same part over and over and over again, and you'll take all the best bits and then put it together and you get like the perfect take. Then it's not all done in one take. So generally it's done in those situations quite a bit. However, I want to take a look at comping for the purpose of specifically bass sound design and bass sequencing. We're still going to be taking multiple takes and piecing them together, but we're going to be doing it specifically to create an interesting sounding bass line. So here I have a bunch of loops that I made using my hardware modular synthesizer. So I just made a bunch of loops and they're playing the exact same notes, but they all have different effects, and I just tweaked a bunch of knobs so they all sound a little different. So we'll take a look at each one individually real quick, and then we'll start putting them together into one actually really interesting bass line. So here's what the first one sounds like. Like that. So like I said, each one by itself is not terribly interesting. They all sound okay, but we're going to put them together to actually make them really, really cool, hopefully. So there's two really important key commands that you need to know about. The first of which is going to be Shift-Option-T. That's going to create a new lane for our comping right here. So I'm going to hit this about 9 times because I have 9 different loops. The other really important key command is going to be Option-Command-U, and that will show and hide all of your different comping lanes. So those are the two key commands that are super important. So I'm going to take each one of these different layers of these loops and just toss it down so that each one has its own individual lane that we can then draw from to actually sequence out our bass line. Like so, and then we'll zoom in here. I also have this drum loop up here just so we have like a backing track, so we have some drums to go in the background. So if I hit play right now, my drums are muted and we're not going to hear any of these individual lanes. So if I hit these buttons here, allows me to jump around and basically preview each one of these lanes, and you can see it also highlights and allows us to actually see that that's the one we're hearing at the moment. But what I want to do is I want to take different pieces of each one of these. So I'm going to select an area, and in general in this situation, I'm going to be taking either quarter notes or eighth notes and maybe occasionally some 16th notes, but it really kind of depends. So I'm going to hold Command and then hit the up key. And once I've done that, I can hold down Command and hit up and down, and it allows me to select different layers of my different lanes. So I'm going to start with this one, and this is going to be the first part of our sequence. And then the next one will maybe make an eighth note. And I will hold down Command and hit up, and then I can move up and down. So I'm able to take this layer as the next one, and then this one will be the next one, and then we'll do maybe a quarter note. So Command up, and then scroll around. That sounds cool. And then maybe we'll do a little bit of yellow layer here. And right now I'm kind of doing it at random. I'm not putting like a lot of thought and effort into like which layers I pick. I'm mostly just trying different things out. And now we'll see how they all sound together. And we'll toss the drums in here too, just to give some context. Let's actually start from the beginning. That sounds pretty good. I like that. We'll start again with our very first layer. I kind of like that as being the start of each bar. And then we'll do another quarter note. Haven't done that one yet. And then we'll do some more eighth notes. and mostly just trying to make sure that every layer gets a little bit of time. Let's check out what this bar sounds like. Again, like that. So not a lot of process behind why I'm choosing these different layers. I'm just kind of testing them out, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. I haven't used this one yet, so maybe I'll give that one a little bit of time. And then we'll do that guy. And we'll check out this bar. And then once again, we will be starting off. So the one kind of pattern I'm doing here is I'm using this one top layer as the first quarter note of each one of these bars. So that way there's like a consistent starting point. And then after that, I'm kind of just going random, just trying out a bunch of different things. We'll do, oops, did not mean to do that. We'll do that one, and then that one, and then that one, and then I'm gonna use that guy off. So we'll try that out. And let's see how they all kind of sound together. Actually works pretty well, I think. And if I change my mind, I can just select an area and I can hit up, and that will allow me to add in new slices. I can make them at smaller sizes. I could even take out like a little bit of this one and maybe swap that out to be something else. We'll try that. Cool. And that gives me a nice, like, interesting, the zoom's going crazy. That gives me a nice kind of interesting baseline that I can start working with. My other favorite part about doing this kind of sequencing is this is all on one track, which again, I can hit Shift-Command-U to hide all those things, and then boom, I'm just left with my sequence right there, or I can hit Shift-Command-U to open up again. But because this is all one track, I only need one lane of effects. So for example, I could take this pedal effect to add some distortion here, and this is going to apply to my entire sequence. I could also try some of the other new effects. So I could try out, or the updated effects, so things like the new phaser or the new chorus. We're not going to be talking about the phaser and the chorus in this video. However, I am going to be making another video where I'll be going in depth into not only all of the brand new effects in Live 11, but also all of the updated effects like the phaser, the chorus, as well as the redo. So let me tweak some of these settings a little bit, make this sound a little bit more interesting. Cool. That sounds way cooler than it would have if I had just picked one of these layers, or even 2 or 3 of these layers, and created a bass line out of it, because now I can take as many layers as I want. I actually recorded about 20 different loops throughout this process and just tweaked a bunch of the knobs as it was recording them. And these are my top 9 layers, the ones that I thought worked the best. And then I can create one bass line using these 8 or 9 loops to create one interesting mashup that sequences really well, and I think sounds much more interesting than any 1 or 2 of them would be individually. So this is how I'm going to be doing a lot of my sequencing, a lot of my bass sound design, and kind of taking those bass sounds and putting them together in ways that I could have done before, but it would have been a lot more work. This whole process would have taken me much, much longer than it just did to do that, and probably wouldn't necessarily have sounded as cool. So I'm super stoked about this feature. This is definitely one of the big things that will very much change my workflow when it comes to especially putting together these sounds, but also working with things like vocal chops, even melodies. You could do the exact same process. Make some really interesting combinations of melodies using the same note sequence, recorded a bunch of times to audio, and then jumping back and forth between different instruments, playing those exact same notes. So really excited about this. Definitely a big flagship feature that I think will very much enjoy regardless of the style of music you're making. But I think if you're making bass music, this is awesome. This is perfect for just recording, a bunch of presets out of Serum and then putting them together into making one monster bass line that you could have done otherwise, but like I said, would have been a lot more work. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you did, please hit the subscribe button, and that way you can be informed about all of the new videos that we'll be releasing about the Ableton Live 11 beta and beyond. So hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching.